My name is Borgen, and I would like to take you a tour through my breeding nursery. If you look around, you can see it's not really that big, more like a garden than an agricultural field. But let's see what I've got here. I do it like this. I sow in rows like this. It's a double row. So for each in each row there is so this is one line, and this is another line, and in these lines it is winter wheat that I'm testing for bunt infection, the common bunt Tilletia caries. You see this one is healthy, but here's a susceptible variety, so I just knock it down to see that this is an infected head. You can see here there is just inside the seed is just filled up with fungal spores, black fungal spores. So this line is susceptible. There are a few healthy head, like this one is healthy. You see inside here there's a healthy seed, but the others, they are infected. So I go through every line and see if there are infected heads, and then select good lines out of this work. This is a white weed, different lines of white weed. That means white seed color compared to the normal red one. And here I have some blue lines. This is also infected, I think. No, actually this is healthy, but you can see this is a blue colored seed. Maybe you can see that closer, a blue seed color. Over here I have some purple seed. This is a purple spelt, but most of the others are purple common wheat. See this nice color. I like colors, to be honest, so I do a lot in these colored wheat. Here I have some spelt. I also here select lines with bunt resistance. So I cross the different lines with each other to find lines that are not susceptible to this disease. Here I have some winter barley, some with colored seed and some with normal seed colors. But this is winter barley, winter naked barley. So there are no husk on these sides, so you can eat it as flour or as kernel. This is Sanduri wheat, Triticum timofeii, from Georgia. A special kind of a special species. Let's go over here. I do a lot in durum wheat. Here are different lines of durum wheat. The problem with durum wheat, some of them, I think this is actually too short, especially for organic conditions. So I try to find some taller ones, but the problem with the taller ones are that most of the tall durum wheats are susceptible to lodging. So I try to breed something that is tall but not a soft straw. They are also very susceptible to different diseases, especially mildew. So I try to cross durum wheat with Emma. This is an Emma. They are much more adapted to the Scandinavian climate, but they have these husks that we need to remove before milling. So I cross Emma with durum and Emma with other species to get the climatic adaptation from Emma into the other species. This is Triticum tyrannicum. This is Kamut. Here are other tyrannicum varieties. I also have Triticum polonicum with these very big big glooms, and also have very big seed. They're quite special, but it's also related to the durum and tyrannicum. This is Dika wheat, Triticum cartlicum, Persian wheat. They grow quite well in Denmark. A little soft in the straw, but and also susceptible to some diseases, but they're okay. And over here I have, these are the crosses between cartlicum and emmer, and cartlicum and durum and emmer, and back and forth. I also have, these are a more normal spring wheat. This is a Triticum Petropavlovsky, or Xinjiang rice, from Xinjiang in China. The pure lines are quite susceptible to diseases. They come from this desert area, but if I cross them with a normal spring wheat, then actually they get quite nice. I think they can be used for something. This is a line from China. It has a very high content of dietary fiber, so this should be very healthy to eat. Unfortunately, it's quite short in the straw, but I cross it with other lines that are taller, so hopefully there will be a variety out of that. This again is Sanduri wheat, Triticum timofevi, and another Sanduri, Triticum Zukowski. This is a hexaploid wheat, and this is a tetraploid wheat. They are not too adapted to our climate, but they are very healthy. There are practically no diseases infecting them, but they are also they have a low yield, and also sometimes a bit soft in the straw. But maybe the healthy is very attractive, I think. Over here is the Triticum militine. So this is also a Sanduri wheat, but it's it has naked seed, like normal wheat, as compared to the timofevi that has husk, a spelt type. This is a normal spelt, Triticum spelta. This comes from Russia, or actually it comes from Denmark, but it was collected by Nikolai Vavilov in 1928. He was in Denmark collecting seed, and he brought it to Russia, so it stayed there in Vavilov Institute, and then I got it back to Denmark to. It looks nice, and to my knowledge, it's the only original Danish spelt wheat. I have some rice. This is definitely not a Scandinavian crop, but and also it has got too much shadow from these taller plants, so it was sown much later than the other plants. So maybe in another site it would perform better. This is Colchian wheat, Triticum paleocolchicum, or Karamyshevi. Very soft straw, but maybe the quality is attractive. You see some bottles from here and there. It's not because I'm drinking in the field. I use it when I cross different varieties. So I take away the anthers from one crop, and then from one variety, and then put another one from another variety and put them together, put paper on them, and then they will cross-pollinate. In this way I make crosses between two varieties. This is spring wheat that I'm selected especially for leaf diseases. We had a wonderful attack of yellow rust this year, so it is very good for testing different lines for susceptibility to this disease. I'm a bit nerdy. I'm a plant pathologist, so diseases is wonderful for me. This one is a funny thing. This is a bald wheat. That means normally the seed of wheat has a brush, some hairs on the top of the seed, but this one hasn't. But it's performing quite badly in our climate, so I'm crossing it with a normal wheat to see if I can transfer this trait to a better performing variety. All this area is winter wheat. It's grown under very poor soil conditions. You can see here what the soil is like here. It's really sandy soil everywhere here, but especially this field has received no fertilizer for 2 years, and it's infected with common bunt, so it looks really poor. But it's also on purpose, because I'm selecting lines that are resistant to common bunt, and it's also performing well under low input conditions. So it's supposed to be bad. And then I'm selecting those plants that are actually performing better than the others. Some of them can actually survive even under these conditions. Here I am selecting not only here I'm taking the resistant varieties, those varieties that are not infected by common bunt, and then I infect them with different races of common bunt. So even a line like this that is apparently not susceptible to bunt, for this bunt, if I infect it with another spore collection of bunt, then they get infected. So by testing them against different virulence races, then I can see actually which resistance gene it has. I think that's very interesting, but of course I am a bit nerdy. This is just sweet corn. Try to make sweet corn with different colors. Over here is spring rye. Rye is normally grown as a winter crop, winter rye, at least in Denmark. But I would like to make a spring rye. So I've taken some winter rye varieties, grown them very early in the spring, and if you do that, a few tillers will come up. And I've taken these tillers, grown them again next year, a little later, and then every year I take the earlymost tillers and sow them again next year, a little later. This is sown quite late, actually in May, and still a lot of tillers comes up. Looks almost like a crop, but I've marked those tillers that came first, so that you can see that this one is more ripe than the small one. So I marked all the first ones, and those will be harvested. I hope they have crossed with each other as the earliest. So in this way I turn a winter crop into a spring crop. Over here is my barley field. You can see it's ready for harvest. It was sown very late, very early this year, already in end of February, for about 1st of March. So it was sown very early. That's why it's so early, also maturing. Again, I have different colors. This is all naked barley. I like the naked type. They're much easier to work with. This is not for malting, this is for baking. Actually most of this barley is, I have a cooperation with Aarhus University. They are analyzing the protein content of the barley, because barley has the same gluten, it has gluten like wheat, but it's not bred for baking quality. But here we try to analyze the protein composition and then breed is targeted for baking quality. We hope it will work. You see, and I've already started harvesting. Actually, I mainly use a pair of scissors to cut them, especially when there's a lot of lodging. I use quite a lot of fertilizer here just to see which variety are lodging. Some are, and this one is quite nice standing up. This was hopelessly under high input conditions, so these lines should only be grown under low input conditions. But I can only test that by testing them under high input conditions, which is best for what. Here I have some Tritordium. Tritordium is a cross between wheat and barley. So instead of mixing them in the field or in the kitchen, you can also cross them and then mix them in the genome. Here I have some oats. This is a black oat. You can't see that really. Maybe yes, maybe it's you can start seeing the color coming up here. Here I focus on oil content in oats. I would like to make a oat variety with high oil content, not for industrial oat flake production, because they don't like high oil content because of the shelf life, but for home production, or if you want to make a recipe where you substitute nuts with oats, then it would be nice with a high oil content. I also have some lines that are naked oat. Most of them are normal oat, but this one is naked. A few more here, naked oat. And here I have millet, standing a bit poor here because it's very dry this year. But if you look at them, I think this is Setaria italica, foxtail millet. But this one is proso millet, panicum, and they don't tolerate frost, so they have to be sown very late. Therefore, I select lines with early maturity, because when I sow late, I also harvest late. So for Danish conditions, we really need a short season millet to grow it here. But I think it is doing okay. I have managed to get the harvest a bit earlier than when I started. I can harvest now about 1st of September, something like this. This experiment is a bit like the rye, but this is the other way around. I sow winter wheat in the spring, and if I do that, sow them very early, then some will come up with tillers. But the idea here is to select wheat that does not produce tillers, that stay in this vegetative phase, and the idea is to grow it under a cover crop, in this case peas. But unfortunately we had some birds that ate all the peas this year, so therefore the the wheat is much too strong. It should have stayed down as an undercrop underneath a full cover of peas, but I didn't manage to do that. But here But the main purpose is to select winter wheat that can be grown under sown in a cover crop, and this way we don't need to plow and till the soil in the autumn. So for a no-till system, I hope this will work. And I think actually this is about it. I hope you have enjoyed the tour. Thank you.